a historic American city on the shore of Lake Erie at the mouth of the Cuyahoga River. Hasn't received much respect in recent years, but with Republicans holding their convention in Cleveland this week, we asked our Mo-Rocca to take a closer look.
In 1924, John Philip Sousa rocked the new public auditorium in Cleveland, host to the Republican National Convention.
Calvin Coolidge strongly advocated for Cleveland because Warren G. Harding, who had recently died, was an Ohioan.
John Grabowski is author of the Encyclopedia of Cleveland History.
Cleveland is also a great place at this time. It is the 5th largest city in the nation, and it has a relatively new public auditorium.
So the delegates attending the 1924 RNC were visiting a city on the rise?
On the rise. If they went out to the east, they could have seen this new planned suburb, Shaker Heights, being built by the Van Swearingen brothers. They would have looked around and seen all the construction for the Cleveland Union Terminal.
Queen of the inland waters, this thriving terminal of trade and transportation.
Since that heyday, it's been a long 9 decades for Cleveland, with some ups.
Just after World War II, it is the best location in the nation.
And a lot of downs.
Cause the Cuyahoga River goes smoking through my dreams.
Perhaps none more unfortunately symbolic than when the Cuyahoga River caught on fire, and not for the first time.
This city became a national joke.
And so then we go from best location
in the nation to the
state on the lake.
This is a Cleveland institution. It's Slimans.
And it features Cleveland's
biggest corned beef sandwich.
Comedian Mike Polk Jr. grew up in Cleveland.
You just kind of ruined our entrance, but it's not a big deal. It's all right. We were told since we were kids that we were in a lousy town, that this city wasn't great.
Come on down to Cleveland town, everyone. Come and look at both of our buildings.
Polk's satirical Cleveland tourism videos have racked up almost 20 million views on YouTube.
Buy a house for the price of a VCR. Our main export is crippling depression. It could be worse, though at least we're not Detroit.
So you think Cleveland being at times the butt of jokes helped shape your sense of humor?
I do. I think it helped build a callus, and I think that it gave some perspective that some other people might not have.
Whoa, wow.
Yes, a campaign stop at Slimans will test your appetite for higher office.
You've got to really want to be president to put one of these away.
Exactly, you do. Yeah, we'll see how bad Hillary wants it. I think Trump will eat this whole sandwich right in front of us out of spite, just to show that he can. As long as we're out and about, I want to show you some of our magnificent art here in Cleveland. It's the free stamp.
Mike says downtown Cleveland's gotten a lot better lately.
This is absolutely free. We can do this as much as we want.
Though many of its architectural treasures are reminders of Cleveland's long-ago golden age.
Cleveland really hit its industrial heyday in the years after the Civil War, and huge fortunes were built.
It's a beautiful day to take the wind out, yeah?
Cleveland, it turns out, took an early lead in the manufacturing of automobiles.
You want a different layer, you open up the windshield.
Scottish immigrant and Clevelander Alexander Winton was already making and marketing his Winton motor carriages in 1898.
I love the logo with the O and a tilt like that.
Yes, the O is positioned like that to show forward motion.
And, says Bernie Golias, Winton was just one of a number of automobile companies that thrived in Cleveland during those early days.
So why didn't Cleveland become the automotive capital of the world?
Well, I would say that Cleveland was the original motor city.
Among other Cleveland milestones, the first electric streetcar line, the first blood transfusion, and one of the first traffic signals.
Euclid Avenue was once called Millionaire's Row.
Innovations that made great fortunes for some and changed the way people lived everywhere.
Would you say that Cleveland was the Silicon Valley of its time?
In its own way, it was, because there was so much invention going on here. There was so much disruptive technology being created. The place we're standing, Anson Stager, next door, his neighbor, Jephthah Homer Wade, Western Union Telegraph, that's disruptive technology.
That was leading edge of communication.
It's the Victorian internet.
And over on the other side, inventor Charles Brush, whose arc lamp gave us outdoor lighting.
If you could see his house now, if it still stood in his backyard, there's the world's largest power-generating windmill in the 1880s. He had the first mansion here that was totally electrically lit.
Oh, and just across the street, the founder of Standard Oil and America's first billionaire, John D. Rockefeller.
What a neighborhood.
And what a neighborhood.
These are no slouches here. These aren't legacy, just like rich kids living off their parents' wealth.
That's a really good point, Mo. Most, if not all, these people did not start rich. They essentially came and invented a product and became wealthy. They were the first generation of wealth.
And that wealth built great civic institutions. The world-renowned Cleveland Clinic, the Cleveland Museum of Art, and the Cleveland Orchestra, considered by some to be America's finest.
Sort of a well-kept secret.
Franz Welser Most has conducted in Cleveland for 14 years.
Every time there were economically downturns, the community rallied behind the orchestra. The orchestra is really a part of the identity of the community.
And now, of course, LeBron James and his Cavaliers, who brought the city their first major sports championship in 52 years.
We are no longer the mistake on the lake. I've been hearing that since I was a child.
For Clevelander Melissa Perry, the city she loves has finally regained the world's respect.
With the Republican convention coming here, our Cleveland Indians, and of course our Cleveland Cavaliers. So we're waiting on our Cleveland Browns to really pull it together and follow suit.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But there is a newly redesigned public square downtown. And as for the Cuyahoga, it's hot again.
They've revamped all of this and made it look all pretty. Most of these bars over here are kind of yuppie bars that I honestly don't so much belong in, but I'm glad they're there and I'm glad the yuppies have a place to go.
This Ohio City neighborhood, what was it like when you were growing up?
We'll just say it was very sketchy. It was not a place you wanted to be at night.
But now, Sam McNulty has 5 restaurants along the bustling 25th Street.
We just actually this year opened up a production brewery.
I really do think there's a lot more pride. We're all wearing t-shirts that say Cleveland on them. You don't see that in New York because they don't need to advertise to themselves that they're there. But we have to remind ourselves we're okay with it. And be like, right? We're here. Let's